Kia ora koutou, bit of a slow session for me today. I watched a few early penny stocks, SHPH, ZAPP, Works, but they were all under $1, which is outside my trading zone, so I passed on those. ZKIN was one I was keeping an eye on too, but it couldn't get above VWAP. SYTA popped at 8:30 and I got in on the first pullback, solid entry, but didn't hold for an exit indicator. I just didn't hold my nerve. A bit frustrating, but still a finished green, so let's take a look. One of the first stocks I saw was SHPH, and around just after 6:30 when I sat down, this started skyrocketing up from like 50 cents, 46 cents or something, up to $1, and then pulled all the way back to 76 cents. So it's around 350,000 shares in that first candle and about 600,000 in the second candle there. And then, yeah, it basically dropped all the way back down to 65 cents. And that was pretty much it. I don't trade anything under $1. I find them too hard to trade. I can't read them very well. There's often massive, amounts of shares going through on them because they're more affordable, so people buy more shares, I guess. But I was sort of looking at it and watching it as I didn't really have anything else to trade around that time. The other one was, what was it? ZAPP. Was another one that I saw that sort of popped up around, it's at about 7 o'clock, that sort of popped, came up here, did a good pushback to high 56 cents here from 42. So once again, I was just drawing some technical analysis on them, seeing where possibly a trend line was going and that sort of thing, but really wasn't interested in trading them. The other one that I traded the other day, ZKIN, was also on my scanner, but this one here, it'd been pulling back since about 5 o'clock. And it did rally again up here around just before 7, broke through VWAP there, but it just, I don't know, I didn't take that break. It pulled back below and then sort of pushed up to go through again, but I didn't take those trades. They were just, it was too, I just felt the stock's already been up the day before. I didn't think it had that much legs in it, and it just went sideways really, just under the VWAP. So didn't get any trades on that either. And the other leading gainer actually was too expensive for me. WBuy. So this thing, at around 7:30, pushed up from around $10 and blitzed all the way up to about 18. Pulled back to 15.40 and then pushed again up to 19.16. So it started off pretty expensive for me and just got more and more expensive to buy in on that stock. So didn't even look at it. And actually I couldn't trade it through TradingView. The type of account, it wouldn't let me trade it through TradingView to TradeZero. So I had to trade it directly in TradeZero or not at all. But didn't go anywhere near that either. It did a massive move at the open as well, pushing from around $15 up to $24.68. Sort of in that first session between 9:30 10, and then later on it pushed up to a high of 28.84. So good to see, but it has pulled back actually just about all the way back to where it began at the end of the day. So couldn't hold up in these levels. But good moves today on WeBuy or WBuy. And then SYTA popped up. This popped up around 8:30 and I took my trade as it sort of pulled away here. So you can see in the graph there, I took my trade in here on that first pullback, got in at 190, which is decent entry. It did come back down to about 188, I think, 187, somewhere around there, and then curled back up here, and I got out on this candle here at 195. So if I just bring that up a bit more, yeah, so I got out around that level there in this candle, in this green candle here, way too soon. Actually, if I bring the video up, you can actually see. So I'll just double speed it. So this is the pullback here. I'm getting my order ready. Oh, actually, this is earlier on. This is when I first saw it. So I saw it as it was pulling back from $1.38. And I thought about taking an entry here, but I hadn't quite seen what it was doing. If I'd looked across here to this part of the screen, so I'll clear those, I would have saw that it was breaking through a pivot point near at 140. So that would have been a good entry around 140, or even here as it's pulling back from 154 to break through 150 again. So that would have been a good entry on the pullback. So here's it, and there it's gone again, 170. So if I got in there quickly as it pulled back after breaking 140, or even at the break of 140, that would have been a good entry for the push higher. And now it's 174, 170, 180. I feel like I'm chasing. Because it's a stock that's come up from under $1 or from $1. I just didn't know if it had the legs to go that much further. So I didn't get in. You know, on that pullback there, that would have been a good entry. But, well, that's a micro pullback there. But I didn't get that entry. And then once it got over 170, 180, I felt like I was chasing. So I didn't want to get in until it actually did a decent pullback and wait for that first sort of first red candles to form. So hit a high 210 and pulled back, and now I'm looking at it to establish sort of some support. And I thought it would come down to 195, and I'd look at getting in around 195 lower. But I'm just waiting for that second candle here. The first red candle is not too bad. It's about half the volume of that green. And I just wanted to see what this next candle did. So it's not pushing higher, it's actually pulling back further. And I decided to get in there at 190. So what speed's that? Oh, yeah. And then it sort of curls around. So it pushed up to 2 there and started pulling back. And so I missed an exit there around 2. But I thought I'll put a sell order in around 205. And then it pulled back down to 189, 188, 187. I actually went to 185 on the bid. And then as it was coming back up here, I was getting a bit worried because it's not pushing back quickly. It's taking a bit of time. And yeah, the volume's just not coming back in on the green side. So I got a bit worried. And I think this is why I sold early. So it started pushing up here again, and I was like, no, the volume just doesn't seem to be coming in on the green. I'm gonna get out. So again, it starts dipping back to 190, and then it pushes back up to 193. Not yet. Yeah, it's sort of dipping, and I was just thinking there's not a lot of green volume coming back in, and that's what worried me. So I got out, and I only got out with 195. So now the volume's starting to come in. Now it's pushing up to $2, over $2, 204, 205, and you can see it's still struggling a bit. It's 100, 17,000 order was on the ask there for a bit, but now it's pushing back up to 205, 206. But once again, just that green volume's not coming in really well. Now it's pushing over 210, up to 216, 215, 220, over 225 to 225. Yeah. So I didn't hold for that push higher. I got a little bit scared, shaken out of that trade because just of those lighter green volume candles. I just thought, nah, it might not go. It's hitting that resistance there around that, just below the $2. And folded. So it kind of bluffed me out of the trade. So not a great exit, but still green on that trade. Bought 144 shares, so I was up around $7. What was it, $7.35, I think. Yeah. That was my trade on SYTA. So yeah, missed the entries on as it was pushing up on that front side of the move. Got in on the first pullback, but just didn't execute the exit well. And I will just stop the video, jump out of that. So that was pretty much it. After that, I watched SRXH put in a move. I actually watched SYTA for a little bit longer and did think about taking, let's go back to that. Did think about taking a trade as it dipped back. So it sort of rolled over after that and came back down to the VWAP. Came up, broke through VWAP here at 176. And I did think about getting in on the break of the VWAP. Pushed up, pulled back, held at that 176, 175. And then pushed up to $2 again. So that would have been an okay trade there as well, but I'd already taken a trade, and even though I didn't get what I really wanted, I wanted 10 cents out of that trade. I decided that no, I won't risk it, and I didn't take any trades on this, any further trades on that. No, was it SRXH? What was the other one? SRXH. Without the J. There we go. SRXH. So this put in a decent move as well. In pre-market, rocketed up from 63 cents up to $1.48, $1.47, 46. And I watched it rip pretty much all the way up here, and anything under $1 I didn't want to trade. But as soon as it got over $1, I actually thought about taking here an entry at $1.10. So it had ripped up to $1.19 and pulled back down to about $1.08. And I thought about taking an entry around $1.10 for the pushback to retest the high at 118, 120. Decided against it though. I just felt like I would be chasing, but it would have been a good entry. $1.10 push up to $1.30, $1.29, $1.30. It could have taken my exit up there and had maybe 20 cents, maybe 18, 19 cents profit in there. And maybe held through that pullback, but probably not. I generally try to get out pretty quickly on my winning trades. And yeah, but decent move there. Then it sort of pulled back, pushed again at just before the open, and then rolled over and after the open halted down, I think, here, and that was pretty much it for that one. And NVVE was the other one I watched at the open. It did put in a move at pre-market. Let's have a look. Yeah, so pre-market it popped up around about 9, pushed up to 197 from around $1, and pulled back, and then at the open, just before the open, it started pulling away, broke the VWAP on the first candle of the open, and then pulled away. I was watching it here at the open, and on this pullback here, and then break back through this level here. This is an entry here at 189, and then again looking at this break over this 207 around the $2 mark was possibly another good entry here as it pulled back here and then broke over $2. But I left it alone as well, and I actually during this time I was sort of watching this and doing filling out my data sheet for the day with my trade. So that was pretty much all I watched last night. So yeah, one trade, 147 shares, 190, exit 195, so 735 profit. So on the calendar, lots of green days, which is nice, but it would be better if the green days looked more like my red days. My one red day, if my green days were $100 each, that would be much nicer. But I just need to get these red days under control. When I have a red day, it needs to be more like the day that I had last night, $7 in the red. Much easier to come back from than 177. So really going to work on that over the next few weeks. Make sure that if I do have a red day or have a red trade, that it is very small. So I am down $110, I'll probably be $112 after I add the fees in from today's trades. So I'll be down $112 net for the month, and that is my goal for the next 3 weeks is to get back into profitability for the month at least. So make back that $100 and hopefully reduce the loss. If I have a red day, then it's a small one. And I think that is it. So my accuracy at this month is actually around 70%, which is pretty good for me. But it's that risk reward ratio that's killing me. 0.15 risk reward ratio is not good, and really I need an 86% win rate to become profitable. So I'll have to work on that and string together some green days and some bigger green days. If I can get around $28, $30 a day, that would be much better, and I'll chew through that drawdown pretty quickly then. But if I trade like I did last night, then it's going to take a lot longer. So I'm still sticking to my one trade a day plan. Decent setup today, but poor execution on the exit. I was eyeing a second trade on NVVE, but felt like I missed the move and I didn't want to force anything. So, sometimes green is enough, even if it's not perfect. Let me know if you would have held longer on SYTA or played it differently. I'll be back next week to keep building. If you're on the journey too, hit subscribe and come along for the ride. I will see you then. Hei te rā wiki.